Evening. So I have made progress on something that I didn't intend on doing, which, as I put in the post earlier, um, kind of fits with the random name. Um, yeah, so I've done a bit. I just fancied doing some electrics tonight, so teaching myself a little bit more about how to do things. And as you can see, I've had a bit of foam board lying around, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to see if I can get this to work. Um, and it's pretty good. It actually works really well. I've got to work out how to get all of the points connected, but I've got a test one up here. So this whole side, actually, these two points are actually connected. So when it fires both points, so that I don't get derailments from the points not being set correctly. So all that's doing is that's set to these two momentary switches. So these are just push button ones, and yeah, it's work. I think it's this one, isn't it? I think that's the one. So we can hear when you switch the rails around. So yeah, this is kind of, I think it's a bit of a concept really. All these black ones are the common return going back to the CDU up here. And I just kind of thought, well, see if I can get it to work. If I can get it to work, then this is kind of like the initial concept of what I'm going to do, I think. Actually, might even just reuse this because it's actually pretty good. And just put a box around it. And all that's done is connected to male and female port here. Obviously, I'm just using the plus side on here just to get a connection back to the CDU. And the idea is that I should be able to take this kind of around the cabin, around the layout. So the next thing for me to work out is how to run one single, yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it, but one single cable to here for each of the points. I think somebody somewhere has used network cable before, you know, Cat5 stuff, which obviously has lots of different, you know, all in one cable. It's got lots of different cables, so you can connect and use that. So I might have a look at somebody's video and see if I can use a Cat5 to connect it. I've only got, what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that 10? So yeah, I think it should be possible. But yeah, then I well, earlier I was just playing around with these two buildings that I made, and it's just hooked up to a couple of batteries, and you can see that the lights are inside there, looking quite good. Let me just turn the light off, and then it might actually be a bit better. There we go. Yeah, so you can see the guys inside there, all busy. And this is one of the windows for the house. I think there's a side window around here as well. So yeah, at night time, if I decide to do any videos, then it adds a little bit of realism. And that's kind of what I've been up to. I was running a couple of locos earlier. I've got one. Where is it? Is it up there anymore? No. Where's it gone? Ah, here we go. So this one seems to be a problem inside. So I'm just about to open it up and have a look actually. So I think that's probably a dead worm gear. I'm hoping, I've got my fingers crossed there's no mazak in there, because I don't really fancy dealing with that right now. I've had plenty of class 31s that I've had to recover from mazak rot. I don't really want to do that here. 2 T9s and 2 30T1s, so that's 4 rescued from the scrap, but I don't really fancy doing another one. Yeah, so there's me talking about mazak, and on closer inspection we've got the telltale signs. Obviously when I bought this it was a risk, so it might need a new chassis. which is a bit annoying. You can see, so you can see this is the cracking that occurs when Hornby over in China don't get the mixture right, and then obviously Hornby stop replacing them after a couple of years anyway. So people are just left with locos laying around that self-destruct themselves and fall apart. I'm pretty sure if I'm going to have to try and take this apart to have a look at the motor. I'm pretty sure if I start to take that out, that screw, it's going to most likely start to disintegrate. That will probably break off. Yeah, it's a bugger. I think I've got a couple of these Patriot. What are they? The Royal Scot Patriot ones. This SKU number. Yeah, the R2634. So I think quite a lot of the locos around the 26 time period had quite a lot of problems with the mix of the mazak. So yeah, it's probably naffed. So it looks great looking model, but yeah, it's a shame, very big shame. But I'm going to take it apart, see what I can do. I might use my trick of super glue and bicarbonate soda, which, if you didn't know, makes an incredibly hard replacement for metal in some instances. So that's how I've repaired some of the class 30 ones. But yeah, I think for this one, it might be naffed too much. Hey ho, right, we'll try. Let's see what we got. I'll do another video in a minute. So, managed to get the body off, which is in good condition. I think it's got a nice weight in front of it. I didn't realise that these come with weights in the front now. But yeah, that's looking good now. This is interesting. So, it's not the worst I've ever seen. The front has definitely started to go with mazak. I was very careful, trying to prise it off because it was kind of stuck on where it's, yeah, mazak basically is where the metal, I think, starts to swell. So that's why they call it rot, I guess, because it's swelling from within, which is causes this sort of characteristic cracking. The likelihood is that that's going further up here, and what's happening, the reason why it doesn't run, because actually if I put it on the thing over here, I might really need to tidy up my desk. I just end up kind of like moving things around. I don't know if anybody else does that, but in my sort of random way of working. Yeah, two cups of coffee, standard. Right, let's get him on. Oh, I'm gonna have to set it up actually because it needs the tender, doesn't it? I think so. I'll be right back. Okay, no, it doesn't need a tender then. So this is the problem we're having. You can hear that the worm gear spins. Nothing's happening, so there's no connection going on there. It's either that or it's blocked. So yeah, I'll take it apart and have another look. Yeah, so I think I'm going to give up with this repair right now and come back to it when I've got more time and patience and a cleaner desk. So I'm going to start putting it all back together in a minute, but I think someone's had a go at fixing it before. You can see this retainer, this basically should come away now. I've taken out the screw that holds it down. It should be coming away, but it's well and truly stuck in there. So someone's had the idea to super glue it in, which isn't the worst idea. I think it would possibly sort of problem. I think I did that for a class 08 once that had mazak, so I can understand it. They're trying to basically glue that down into place so that it pushes down the gear and keeps that in position, whilst the motor then sort of tries its best to turn. It doesn't really work that well though, because obviously as the motor turns and moves and puts pressure on the gear, it will, I think, push up anyway. So it's It's actually just the quite poor design. Well, it's not a poor design. It works really well if it wasn't for the fact that the mazak has clearly done something to inside here. So there's something going on in here with the gear. Whether the gear's been shredded because of it being pushed up, I've had that before. So basically the worm gear's high up on the actual gear itself, and so that kind of like wears away at the edges, and that can cause it to then not run. So it could be a gear issue. There's not much I can do about the chassis. I've emailed Hornby to see what the options are for replacements from them. I think, I don't know, it just disappoints. It's disappointing. I just think the price of these things, they're not cheap, are they? When they are new, and people essentially are left with these and can't do anything with them. I'm lucky to an extent that I bought this for 35 quid, whatever it was, so I knew what I was potentially getting. When I buy them for 35 quid and it says non-runners, 75% of the time they are okay, there's no problems with them and I can get them running again. But there are some, like this one, where the person who's sold it probably has no idea that the reason for it is the mazak. That's kind of what I like to think anyway. I'm sure there are some that know exactly what's the problem, and they obviously don't show it or say anything about it in the advert. But hey ho, I have emailed the person that I bought this from. It was a collectibles shop. I won't give the name, but I suspect they just got it handed in. They tried to run it, it didn't work, so they put it out for sale. Which is fine. I haven't got a problem with that. I haven't got a problem with that at all. So, like I say, because every other one I get is a bargain. So yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. It gives me something to do at some point as well in the future. But I just wanted to know whether this is super glued in. I've got some debonder somewhere, so I might try whacking some debonder on it. If I do that now, it's kind of like point of no return. But to be honest, if this goes away back in the box, I mean, it's good looking. It's a good looking loco, but this will, I give that. I mean, it's still pretty solid, but it's going, and it will continue to go. This is the problem with it. Mazak doesn't stop. It just starts to go. You can see it all coming down here. You see little bits in here. Like I said before, I usually, like if this was broken off because of the mazak, where it got really brittle, I could easily repair it because I could use a bit of super glue and a bit of bicarb soda, which creates a really solid join. So that if you get one like that, it's quite possible to fix them. That's what I've done with the Class 31s and one of the T9s. But one of the T9s was so bad, it was completely crumbled, and bless them, Hornby, they get a bad rep, but in this instance they did send me a replacement T9 chassis, so I have literally for 30 quid a T9 that runs really, really well. I'll probably get that out at some point when I start to tidy up and get the layout closer to being done. So yeah, let's say goodbye to this one then. This is going to go back on the shelf. Like I say, it's a good looking one. I'm glad I got it still. I'm not disappointed about getting it. It's just one of those things. Just disappointed that I can't get this off. If this wasn't glued down, then it gives me a chance to kind of at least understand what I need to do. Just a bit of a bugger, really. But hey ho. Right, so I think that's probably all I'm going to go through then today. I'm going to put this back in the box, put it back on the shelf, go get myself a cup of tea, and go to bed, I suppose. Decaf, by the way, not an actual cup of tea. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well. That was something a little bit different tonight, and a bit of electronics. Just fancied a bit of a change rather than scenic stuff, and for the fact that I do really, really, really need to tidy up. So I'm not going to do a video about me tidying up because that would just be boring. More boring than listening to me rabbit on about mazak rot, I suppose. But I hope everyone's well. I'll speak to you later, and probably update sometime next week, I guess, if I make some more progress on the layout. Cheers, bye.